The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.
Good morning.
What's up, Mary Cole?
That's a compliment. You're comparing me to Mary. What are you supporting? Soft on crime, Eric Reinhardt?
There's a time and a place for everything.
There's never a time and a place to support Eric Reinhardt.
There's a time and a place for political signs. So, speaking of political, did you watch last night?
Unfortunately, yes.
Kamala's really smart, or she got all the questions beforehand? What do you think?
You can get the questions beforehand, but that's nonsense. I mean, the questions were pretty straightforward. There were questions you would normally ask in a debate, but you know, what's behind? I just keep asking. Again, let me preface my comments by saying we live in Illinois, so your vote doesn't matter for president.
Well, people from Illinois are generally watching or listening, so continue.
Right. And I don't really care who people in Illinois vote for president because it won't matter. But what's behind door number 3?
Well, she came out.
I hate to say this, but Nikki Haley would have trounced Kamala Harris last night. Trounced. And she would trounce her in a general election. 40 states she'd win.
And that's the problem.
Anybody that thinks that Nikki Haley would do worse in a general election against Kamala Harris than Donald Trump needs their head examined.
Okay.
That said, Kamala Harris would be a horrible president for this country, but
see, that's the problem with Republicans.
What, we think too much?
No, Nikki Haley would have this. Nikki didn't.
Yeah, because the base of our party is more concerned about settling scores than winning elections. But hey, whatever.
Okay, well,
and he might still win, but he ain't going to win here.
But Joe,
show me an election that has switched from D to R. In other words,
I didn't know you were Irish.
What?
Are you Irish?
No.
Oh.
Are you?
I'm not, but I've been to a lot of Irish dinner parties, and
I'm just saying, show me an election where, since Donald Trump has been on the scene in 2016, that was when he first ran, that the office had been previously held by a Democrat and is now held by a Republican? Show me somewhere around here. Maybe somewhere in the South, but nowhere around here.
Well, if Nikki Haley would have trounced Kamala, why couldn't she beat Trump? That's the problem with the Republicans.
Because winning a
There's no
primary is
leadership.
different. We've talked about this before, Pete. Don't be naive on this.
I'm not, but we've got new listeners and viewers who
Winning
just
a
watch the
primary
debate.
is different than winning a general. Okay. And the base, look, it's the same reason. Why is Kamala Harris flipping all her positions on
Because she can't.
Because in 2020, when she was running in a primary, you run to the base in the primary, and then you have to figure out a way to pivot in the general. Now, Trump don't pivot, other than maybe abortion. I don't know where he stands on that, but she said, I'm against fracking, which is the right answer if you're running in a Democratic primary, but the wrong answer if you're running in a general election where Pennsylvania.
So let's talk about last night, the debate. What did you think?
Like I said, what's behind door number 3?
So you don't want to answer the question?
She's horrible.
Do you think this is a debate?
She's horrible. She got away with the very first question out of the bat was, are you better off? What?
Are we better off
than you were 4 years ago? She never answered the question because the truth is most Americans are not better off than they were.
Why didn't Trump challenge her on it?
You ask him that.
No, but I'm asking you.
He's batshit crazy. That's why.
Okay. So
she's horrible. She'd be a horrible president.
He wasn't horrible.
I don't believe for a second that she'd cut taxes on anyone. But
I thought he was.
He can't even explain the tax cuts right. He cuts taxes and then she throws out the tax cuts for the rich. All he had to say was the same line that George W. Bush and Ronald Reagan said when they cut taxes. If you're a taxpayer, you get a tax cut, which is true. That happened under Reagan. It happened under Bush. It happened under Trump. And it happened under JFK way back in the day. But he can't say that. So, this is a guy that could have won this election easily after he got shot. And he squandered it. He could still win. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, I have zero control over who wins this, and no one in Illinois has any control over who wins this. He could still win, but he has zero coattails for anybody down the ballot.
Well, like who runs things on the Republican Party?
Donald Trump.
Okay.
I mean, he de facto runs it. He's put his niece, or I forgot what she is, daughter-in-law. I forgot as co-chairman of the party now. So
Kamala,
it's his party. Okay.
He had the first 30 minutes, won. And then she made fun of his rallies, and he just fell apart.
Yeah, she got under his skin, which she knew what she was doing. I mean, and the thing is, all he had to do was deflect, and that could have been a deplorable moment, like Hillary, when Hillary called all of Trump's supporters a basket full of deplorables. But no, he let it get under his skin, and he's turned it around into, I have the best rallies, and no one goes to your rallies, which isn't true. People are going to our rallies, but he just can't help himself. It's just
she did better than he did.
Yeah, no question. I don't see, but the question will be, this election is going to come down to a very small number of people in a small number of states, swing voters in swing states, right? Your opinion don't matter. My opinion don't matter. Nobody's opinion in Illinois really matters.
Well, actually, it matters like right now for the next 60 minutes.
But I'm just saying, Pete, you could vote 3,000 times. You could vote 1 million times for Donald Trump, and he'll still lose Illinois.
Now, Trump, he wasn't just debating Kamala. He was debating David Muir and whatever that other.
But you knew that when you accepted the debate. All right, the media is against you going into
it. Do you think people?
The media was against George W. Bush when he debated back in the day. The media was against Reagan when he debated back in the day. They know that going into that. They know that there is a liberal bias amongst the media that predates Donald Trump. Okay,
but people are
predates Ronald Reagan probably, but they know that Reagan knew that, Bush knew that. He knows it, but he doesn't adapt to that.
So Kamala said, I'd like to do another debate. You think Trump will do it?
If I were him, I wouldn't, but I mean, it's just going to be more damaging unless he turns it around and does a 180. Who knows? I mean, I think he was ready for another debate with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And the thing is, policy-wise, she cannot distinguish herself from Joe Biden. And when she says, "Oh, people are hurting and I'm going to help," they're hurting because of Joe Biden.
Unfortunately, people don't care about the policies.
Well, and that's the problem. That's why
Yeah.
we end up getting more bad policy.
Right.
But I mean, she just, and look, the abortion thing is a killer issue for us here. Right? Whether you are staunchly pro-life or staunchly pro-choice or somewhere in between, which is what most voters are, by the way. But no matter, forget the principles of the issue, and I'm not trying to dismiss them. They're very important principles on both sides. But politically, that issue is a disaster for the Republican Party. Absolute disaster. I mean, when you have a referendum to ban abortion failing in Ohio and Kansas, which are both red states, that tells you this. Walk away from this issue, guys. I mean, this is a dumb issue for us.
If they're both bad debaters. Everybody said Trump is a master. He's been doing his whole life. No, he's not.
He got lucky with Hillary, and he got lucky with Joe Biden not knowing what day it was.
So you got hubris and ignorance on both sides. And
Like I said, what's behind door number 3?
well, unfortunately, your sign back there, they're going to attach her to Trump.
Well, that's Eric Reinhardt's playbook because Eric Reinhardt
A good playbook.
wants he doesn't want to talk about his own record, which I can't blame him because his record is horrible. A teenage girl died because of Eric Reinhardt.
Are you
Okay.
going to go to the headlines again? Here, let me give you a headline. People really eating ducks in Springfield, Ohio.
I don't know. They're eating our tax dollars in Springfield, Illinois, but I don't know about Springfield, Ohio.
I put up a video on my Facebook of a guy wearing a Harris, whatever the other guy's Tim shirt,
Walls.
and he's going
Knucklehead.
he's going in front of city council saying, "Hey man, what do you do about these Haitians? We're trying to get our freebies, and these Haitians are in line, and they're cutting heads off of ducks and eating them." That was really
If Trump can come back and prove that actually is happening, he might win the election. But if you can't back a statement like that up, oh my God, what were you thinking? I mean, he's being mocked all over social media this morning.
Well, then that person that spoke at the city council was lying then.
So maybe, if you're running for president, you might want to check some random look. Would you base what we say upon some of the yahoos that have showed up to the city council meeting here in Lake Forest? I don't think so.
Hey, Joe, you ever been to Haiti?
Unfortunately, no. Or fortunately, no, depending on who you talk to. But no, I've not.
They're not doing very well there. And if you see a bunch of ducks running around and you're hungry, you'll eat.
Okay, but are they doing it in Springfield, Ohio? Are they stealing people's pets and eating them, which is essentially the assertion that President Trump made last night in the debate? If they are, and you can prove it, great.
Have you been to Vietnam?
That's an awful thing. But if you're basing it on some internet meme or some random dude that's just spouting crap off the top of his head, and you're running for president, whew.
Have you been to Vietnam?
No.
I have.
No, I've not been to any Asian country. I'd like to.
It's a delicacy, so I'm just saying.
I understand that, but the issue is stealing people's pets in Springfield, Ohio, and eating them. All right. Now, if that's happening, that's horrible because you shouldn't be stealing people's pets, period, right? Let alone eating them.
Well, the memes are out of control.
I'm sure they are. I had to close. I'm like, this is when social media is just absolutely the devil.
That's what the internet's made for. When you got a duck and a kitten sitting on each side of the duck watching the debate, That's magnificent.
I just like, look, I mean, what was he thinking saying it? I mean, well, he wasn't thinking, obviously. I'm sure every one of his advisors is backstage there in Philadelphia, like,
It's easier to be a backseat driver and
I get it, but there's some element of preparation here. Look, we all make mistakes, right?
okay.
Ronald Reagan made mistakes. We all make mistakes. But time, he just he keeps he never has a good performance. And the only reason he had a good performance against Joe Biden was because Joe Biden doesn't know what day it is. I mean, Joe Biden couldn't string a sentence together.
Immigration,
Yeah, immigration is a very serious issue.
and energy.
Right. And immigration is a very serious issue, which you've totally made a laughing stock of now with this dog thing. Okay. This is a serious issue that the majority of Americans are very upset about. And he almost basically took it off the table and handed it to her with that stupid statement.
If you're living in those areas, like you go into Chicago, I was just in Vegas, you see them. They're there.
Yeah, no, I've seen them in Chicago. I certainly have.
So when you're living
There's just south of the Federal Building. I can't remember. That's Plymouth Court, and there's a Plymouth bar that they had to lock up.
So
and
they all got their kids in strollers and signs and all.
Right. And look, let's be honest. Most of them are there and have nothing but good intentions, just like everyone else that has come to
That
this.
being said,
But that being said, there is a criminal element to it that people like Brandon Johnson don't know how to manage.
all right. So yes or no, you think Trump will debate her again? And will he finally learn? Okay.
I mean,
don't answer.
He's you know what? He's kind of the better. He's the guy in Vegas right now that's down in the hole, and he's got to decide: do I quit or do I go double or nothing? That's where he's at right now. So does he double down and try and win the next one, or does he say enough's enough? Let's just do my usual shtick and let her self-destruct, because she certainly can self-destruct. And there's a lot of holes in what she said last night too. I mean, it is hypocritical for the Biden-Harris administration to shut down the Keystone pipeline, which was gone through Illinois, by the way, and certainly would have gone through Pennsylvania. And then to say a minute later, we're trying to amp up domestic oil production. You can't do that without the Keystone pipeline. And then for them, they never answered the question. Even the reporters asked her this, but she dodged it. Why did your administration why did you deny the Keystone pipeline in our own country, and yet you let Russia build a pipeline in Europe? There is so much hypocrisy in the Biden-Harris administration.
Let's go.
I said, somebody like Nikki Haley would be taking batting practice against.
Yeah, but she struck out.
But because our base is more concerned about settling a score for 2020 than winning in 2024.
That's the Republican base, and that's the problem.
One day this is going to happen to the Democratic base. It has happened in the past, called Walter Mondale.
Okay.
And George McGovern way back.
So for all the political science nerds out there, you think there's a learning where, you know what, if you have a feeble opponent, don't debate them early. Let them push it off till now.
Right? When it's too late to switch them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, lesson learned there. I think the rationale, as I recall, when they first agreed to these debates, or what was it, June 27th for that first debate, was look, some states are already voting. All right. And you can request your vote by mail ballot now, and in less than a month, you'll be getting it in the mail and voting. And some states, I believe, are already voting. I think, if I recall, in 2016, I voted early on August 30th.
So does that mean you would have to send out new ballots if they voted for Biden?
Well, I think remember, by August 30th, the ballots were, the running mates were all set. So there was a deadline, and that's why they rushed to get him off and her on. And that's why they held their conventions remember, they actually, that big convention in Chicago was technically meaningless. They had a special Zoom convention like 2 or 3 weeks earlier because of Ohio's ballot deadline. So, yeah, I mean, yes, he should have waited until now because they would have been screwed. But did they know that at the time? Did they know he was going to be shot at the time? No, they didn't. I mean, somebody knew he was going to be shot, maybe, at least the shooter did, but I don't know.
I mean,
But
he
you don't even hear about him being shot anymore.
right, right.
There's a lot of people that think it was all staged. There's something I saw being circulated on Twitter or X this morning where it was a zoom in of his ear, and they're like, "There's no scar there. How was he actually shot there? Like it's all staged," which I think the Secret Service would dispute, and I think, in fairness, the Biden-Harris administration would dispute he was shot. But that said, I've never seen somebody shot and a month later drop in polling. When Reagan was shot, polling went up. I mean, then again, Ford was shot at twice and it didn't matter. He still lost, but he never got hit, thankfully.
Who is like in Illinois? Who's running the Republican deal?
Well, the chairman, the chairperson, is from Lake County, Kathy Salvi. Very nice lady.
You
Her
know,
husband is Al Salvi. You may remember him from running for various offices, and she ran for U.S. Senate 2 years ago. But Kathy's I've known Kathy a number of years. I mean, she's a little more conservative than me, but I've always liked her. She's always been a very
how's
nice.
that possible?
What?
Never mind. Do you notice what I have on my hat, by the way?
You got the U.S. flag.
Dang straight.
Oh, we're recording today on 9/11.
Where were you?
I've got here here, you can't see it in the camera, but this is a mug my son made back when he was in grade school, 9/11, around 9/11. Put it here next to my hat collection, if you can see all my hats. I got 3 hats this week because my 3 teams won.
Oh, that's on my list next to talk about. But 9/11, you know, the rule of thumb is if you know you're a millennial, if you can remember as a kid 9/11.
I remember as an adult.
I know, but as a kid, a millennial,
Oh yeah.
next generation, that's
Fun fact, I was in the same building when the attack occurred as the man who later gave the order to kill Osama bin Laden was.
a fun fact.
Well, it's not fun, but yeah, State Senator Barack Obama. I didn't know this till 10 years later on the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And President Obama was giving an interview and they asked him, "Where were you on 9/11?" And he said, "I was in the James R. Thompson Center for a hearing." And I was in the James R. Thompson Center working. Little did I know there would be a guy on a different floor that would order the death of bin Laden.
You and Obama.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll tell you some Obama stories.
not
They're
9/11.
not very positive.
9/11. Moment of silence. Okay. LuLu looted again.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to why we need her as the state's attorney, Mary Cole, because there is basically a big sign up in Lake County saying, "Come here and rob us. Come here and commit crimes."
Kick me.
Yeah, basically, yes, it's a kick me. They know that no matter how hard the cops work to get these people arrested, that we currently have a state's attorney in Eric Reinhardt, just like Cook County has with Kim Foxx, though she's leaving.
How about we tell everybody the facts first, that as we know them,
Yeah.
before you get into your
Well,
political.
I don't know many of the facts other than they got broken into, and this was overnight, right? This was not in the day where they, rushed the employees or anything like that.
I have a neighbor that lives over there, says it was a true smash and grab. And I have somebody that talked to a cop that dealt with it that just said it was a masked guy that went in and grabbed a bunch of stuff and left. I don't know. Either way, a crime was committed in Lake Forest at LuLuLemon. Those things must be hot to move.
Well, go on YouTube and type Chris Rock LuLuLemon. Don't do it around the children. But he's got a very funny skit about LuLuLemon. I'll just The only thing I can quote from it is $100 yoga pants. The rest I can't quote here without scaring the children. But the it look, it's an expensive product that people want, right? And it's easy to take a piece of clothing and stuff it in a bag or stuff it in a car. It's, it's very, very movable. It's not like a big TV set or something. So it's people want that stuff. And unfortunately, um, we're in a county that lends itself to that. I bet you if they ever catch that guy, we'll find out that he had priors.
What? Really? You don't hear any stories about them going into like what's that pots and pans store that's over there?
I don't even know what you're. Oh, wait,
It's not Crate and Barrel, but it's a real
no.
fancy pot and pan place.
Because you can't disguise a
They're
pot.
coming out with 2 soup pots.
You can't disguise that. Though during the looting in 2020, they were coming out with everything in Chicago. But and remember back in the '92 looting in LA when Rodney with the Rodney King stuff, they were carrying those big old TVs out. Remember those big the TVs in 1992? They were carrying those out. Like, justice for Rodney King. Give me a TV. Okay.
And then we had business shutdown. One less bagel place.
I predicted it. Go back and watch the show where we first talked about Once Upon a Bagel. I said, this is going to be the end of Einstein. I said it on the show. And look, I mean, it sucks for the people that work there, right? If you are working at a store, a corporate store, and you lose your job, it sucks. Okay. And I'm sure the people working there were good workers, and hopefully they'll find a job somewhere else. And in this economy, it looks like you can.
That being said,
they're a big corporation, and obviously Once Upon a Bagel has found a niche here in town. People like it. And people are going to local.
I don't hear people liking it that much. I'm just saying. Go look.
I don't know. Every time I drive by, I see a line. Sunday morning, I drive by, I see a line out the door there. It's a local business. I would rather my money go to a local business than some out-of-state corporation.
Here's what I've heard: 3 things.
Just like Starbucks. I would rather give it to hometown than Starbucks. All right, and I would rather go to Number one, as you said on your little breaking news thing yesterday, of course, our favorite is Gerhardt's. Mary is as local as you get.
Three things about the bagel place, just from the reviews online, and when my family has gone in there. It's hot, a lot of flies, and unfriendly people. That is not a good recipe. Just saying.
The times I've been in there, and I haven't been in a lot because not my thing, bagels, but they have other stuff.
We should go over.
I didn't have a bad. I had good experiences both times.
Okay.
So I can't say that.
All right. You know what? I haven't tried it. I'm not a bagel.
Oh, let's go there sometime. Come on.
Well, some people ask.
I'll get the lox platter and you get a bagel.
We should do.
Hey, boy.
We should do food reviews. We go in and we say, it's a 7.5.
Like the Hungry Hound or whatever on TV there. I forget what channel.
Everybody and their mother on TikTok is doing the food review. So I wonder what's going to go into that space.
I'm sure something very nice because that's prime real estate there.
Yeah, nice art.
That in the shoe store that went out, Lake Forest Bootery after 75 years. That was. But like I said, when it happened, video killed the radio star, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no, it just goes to show you
kids don't buy shoes in stores anymore. They buy them online, or they buy them at Costco or wherever. I don't know, but
the Bootery,
even those famous footwear stores are going out of business. So, I mean, the shoe business is different. The days of you going to a shoe store with your parents and you trying on 11 different pairs with a professional shoe measurer guy or whatever, and the Brannick device, those are over. I mean, I hate to say it, it was nice. It was cute. I remember my parents taking me to the local shoe store back in the day to get my shoes for
But it
school.
wasn't just a shoe store, Joe. It was, the Lake Forest vibe of fashion, and they were 10 years behind and unfriendly. And this is,
I
that's
don't know about the unfriendly part, but
I
I
do.
they certainly were a little behind. Like I said, video killed the radio star. And both of those spaces, though, back to your initial question, that space and the Einstein space, I think someone will grab that because those are really
Yeah.
good spaces.
And there'll be a bunch of artwork in there from kids and
No, 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 no.
okay.
It's not the mayor, sir.
We'll see. Sure. We'll see.
This ain't Highland. This ain't the People's Republic of Highland Park. This town is still run by business-oriented people here.
Then why are there so many empty storefronts?
Well, some of that has to do with the landlord. I think the landlord is, yeah, from what I've heard, the landlords wait for the right tenant and they'll just, somebody said that part of what brought down the Bootery was they jacked up the rent. I don't know if that's true or not.
It also helps when nobody's buying anything.
Yeah, and I heard the roof collapsed inside and they didn't have the money to fix it. And I don't know. I've heard lots of stories about it. Look, if you grew up here, like our friends, I'm sure Scoo has Lake Forest Bootery stories when they took little Scoo to get his shoes and stuff.
Nah, I don't think Scoo's ever been in there either.
You think Scoo bought his shoes at Kmart? What?
Yeah, actually, I think he did.
Okay.
I did. So, all right.
Blue light special on heads in aisle 12.
I was at the lunch counter when they still had food over there.
I remember the blue light specials at Kmart. It was like, I remember when I was little and the first time I heard it, I thought, ooh, this is big.
Yeah, you bought a Fonzie doll. So I had managed to get away for 3 days out going to the Vague.
You did? I didn't know you were out of town.
I
Good for
just
you.
did a little.
So how'd you do? Come out ahead or lost?
I'm not that kind of gambler. I do a little fantasy football draft with me and a bunch of other middle to elderly white men get together in person to do fantasy football drafts. So
Did you draft Aaron Rodgers?
no. No, and you know what? I'm glad I didn't draft any Bears. Ooh, my 60 yards passing, Caleb Williams.
Defense carried the day there, right? Defense and Cairo Santos, however you say his name, the field goal kicker. All of the points in that game all the Bears points, other than the 2-point conversion that Caleb did convert, but all the other points were either defensive touchdowns or Santos kicking field goals. So Caleb's got up his game.
Oh, really? More than 60 yards passing?
Despite all that, he's only like the fifth first round drafted quarterback to win their first game. I didn't know that.
He didn't win anything.
They did win the game. A win's a win, right?
I know, but
game,
your number one draft pick crapped his pants.
Well, now they play Sunday night.
Hold on. He crapped his pants after going on Hard Knocks saying, hey, man, nothing makes me nervous. You know what? He was nervous that game. He crapped his pants. And did the Bears destroy another quarterback? Now, in defense of Caleb, you have all these extra games and nobody's playing in the preseason. And generally, defense is head of offense in early going. So we'll give him a pass. But Caleb ain't going to get anywhere unless that offensive line gets there. There was one play where the center just got knocked 6 feet back on his arse. The Bears got some issues after all that.
Yeah, no, I agree. They definitely got to step up the game. They play Sunday night. Now, who's it against? Houston?
Houston, and
Houston's got a really good quarterback, right?
Ohio State quarterback too.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. And so that'll be interesting. I'm sure that'll be a good one. I'm sure Duffers will be packed with people watching at least the first half.
I'm sure they will, but the fact still remains that did the Bears blow it again?
Oh, with the quarterback pick? We'll find out. I've been doubting all along, but I like Caleb's spirit.
Yeah,
he's got to execute on the field. I
Then
mean,
he
that
then he should have pom poms. So, anyways, getting away from the Bears, who Vegas, that sphere that's out there, I would recommend people checking that thing out because I think that is, if it's still going to be in business, if it turns the way of the Bootery or Einstein Bagels, fantastic facility structure, and it's it's almost like you're watching a hologram of the whole thing. Not
where,
just
wait, where in Vegas was this?
this is the sphere,
Oh, the Sphere. Okay, yeah, yeah.
the sphere. So it's like, this big sphere, which has a whole gazillion LED lights on the outside that can do a bunch of graphical things. And you go inside, I think it holds about 18,000. And when I was there was probably 4,000. It was probably the second night that they had the U2 replay when they had U2 playing last year. And you you you're sitting in the center, and I was told to be in the balcony, and I was, and looking down, and it really looked like it was you're watching Bono the whole 9 yards, a hologram, fans, cameras, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, holy crap, this is cool. Now, I believe in a month or two, the Eagles are gonna be there doing a similar type of thing. So
Who's left at the Eagles now? Like half of them have died.
I don't know. I can't. The kids like the Eagles these days, and I didn't like them that
And
much.
you don't mean the Philadelphia Eagles, but though they
No,
beat the
no.
Packers
But
and KO Jordan Love.
now kids today like that soft music, and I was never an Eagles fan. But if you go to Vegas, I would definitely check that out. And it was about 107 there. Couldn't really tell.
107 degrees.
Yeah, and it wasn't that hot. It's like
Well, because it's a dry heat.
I'm dead serious. It's like Illinois at 80.
Yeah,
And
no, it's true. I remember last time I went to Vegas, which was 20 years ago, coming back in the summertime and getting off the plane at O'Hare, and the pilot says the temperature in Chicago is, and it was like 20 degrees cooler than
yeah.
Vegas, but I got off the plane, it was all muggy and ew.
So 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 coming back, I'm on the plane, and the plane got there early, but there was another plane in the gate that, we needed to go to. And there was a bunch of people needed to make connecting flights. So they made an announcement, hey, if you're going to London, if you're going to this, you're going to that, could you just let these people go to the front of the plane and let them off first so they can get there? And where I'm sitting, uh, let's just say I'm sitting and I'm looking over, and I'm seeing a very stereotypical type of person from the North Shore with uh her doting husband that was on a leash, that once the door opened and let everybody off, got off in front of those people that needed to go to London and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe they really got to go to London. And I go to baggage claim, and there they are. And
That's
I'm
not
like,
as one time my family and I were one of those connecting
yeah.
passengers.
So,
We sent Drew because he was the fastest at that point. Drew, get to this gate. And the airport, it was the LAX airport. And the LAX airport was under construction. And he's jumping. I mean, it was like, I don't want to compare it to OJ Simpson because OJ Simpson, but remember OJ back in the day in those Hertz rental car
I
commercials
was
where he's
hurt.
jumping over people? This is like that. And he gets to the gate like ahead of us and basically holds the door. This like young guy holds
Put
the
his
door
foot in
for
the
his
door.
parents and his sister. And we get on the plane and we're like, but people would not get out of the way. I'm like, come on, seriously?
That's kind of
Did
my
you know
point.
this stereotypical person with a doting husband? Because it sounded like a description of someone we both know here in town, but
Uh,
husband.
well, it could be if I that
Well, you
person
would say her name at this point if it
if the
was.
person you think that I'm talking about, if I would have talked to them in person, I'd have a different opinion, but I've never spoken to them, so I don't know. But I did see them in baggage claim, and I am just giving them an earful. Now, look, I am kind of an big guy, so I guess it could be intimidating. So I didn't look at these people, but I was speaking loudly to the side saying, "Oh my God, I can't, hopefully all those people from that needed to go to London needed to get there and blah, 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 blah." And then the one lady says, "Why don't you just shut the F up?"
The North Shore lady said this, or some
Yeah,
other?
yeah, North Shore lady said that. I'm like, huh, all right. So don't be, hey, people of the North Shore, my peeps, don't be that person that needs to get out of the plane that early to hold other people up. That's what's problem with society today.
Well, I think that's more that I've seen rude people far beyond the North Shore. I don't know.
No,
There's
but
a
it's a
lot of very nice. I think in
stereotypical
Lake
rude.
Forest, there's a lot of very nice people.
There
Yeah.
is, but these weren't them. These
Okay.
weren't them. And there's always people on the end of the bell curve. I get it, but there's a reason why stereotypes are stereotypes. That's all that I'm
Well,
saying.
like I said, as somebody that had to connect the catch a connecting flight
Yeah,
once,
yeah, yeah.
I can relate. Like, please get out of the way for these folks.
So Vegas had a blast, and part of the fun now is catching a deal. Okay. Hotwire, and I don't know if I want to let people know about this, but Hotwire is a pretty damn good
It's
thing.
your little secret, huh?
Little secret, but got the Venetian, $18 a night. Because the way
Yeah, but did they
Hotwire,
make money off of your? But they didn't make money off you gambling and eating, did they? And
no
drinking?
gambling, but the drinking, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? There was a couple, but I do know where the cheap places are for the where you can get your pops
Maybe you need to start a travel podcast.
well,
Teach
maybe
travel tips.
but I would do Hotwire, definitely do that. Don't get your planes till the very end. Now, all the pros out there know this. Look, I travel maybe two, 3 times a year. All right. So I don't know. But that getting a nice place like the Venetian for 18 bucks a night and it
How far in
connects
advance did you book it?
2, 3 weeks.
Pretty good.
And the way it works is they don't let you know where you're going to stay. They give you a description and then you got to put the money down. Um,
So you
and
could have wound up at like the Roach Motel or something.
uh, no, because they give you an area where you're going to stay at and a description. And technically, you could take the description, pop it into Google, and you can get an idea where it is. So I get it, but I recommend that highly. I recommend the stores where you can get stuff cheap so you can bring back to the room. Rent the fridge. Rent the fridge. That's a great thing to do. And you know, if I lived in Vegas, I'd be a lot skinnier than I am because you walk everywhere. You want a drink? You okay, go walk for it.
It's a dry heat, Pete.
And it's a dry heat. So good time had by all. I recommend it.
True.
James Earl passed, 93 years old.
He was something else. The voice.
The voice.
Too bad we couldn't have gotten him to record like an intro for the Lake Forest podcast. Could you imagine?
Actually, with AI, we could probably make that.
It wouldn't be the same. But I love, I mean,
Nobody
look,
would
everybody
know.
talks about Star Wars, Darth Vader, Field of
Nope.
Dreams. I loved two things that I saw this week, and one of them I remember at the time. So before David Letterman got all political, and he was
Well,
just a
it happened with
comedian.
his beard.
I don't know. He's lost his mind. But he would have James Earl Jones on occasionally doing the top 10 lists. Classic stuff, absolute classic stuff. Go find it on YouTube. And then the All-Star game in 1993, which was, I mean, Field of Dreams came out what, like 90?
99, something like that.
Yeah, so Field of Dreams was pretty fresh at that point. He spoke the national anthem at the 1993 All-Star game. Did not sing it, spoke it. Now they had some musicians playing in the background, but it's just absolutely incredible to see this stadium full of people and James Earl Jones is speaking the words of the Star Spangled Banner. Really cool. I mean, he had the voice, and he knew he played off of it. I mean, look, he did all those skits with Letterman, so he got the joke.
Uh, and then what else is going in town, Joe? That's all I
Oh,
got. I think
our
the
scouts are doing well.
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. I was at the game at Carmel out in Mundelein. Uh,
Yeah,
we got a
how
good team here. We got
how
a really good team. There's 4 undefeated teams left in the conference. Uh, Lake Forest, Stevenson, Libertyville, and I was reading John Kerr. If you don't read John Kerr's newsletter, read it. It's really good. He does a lot of good scouts coverage. Our quarterback, Lake Forest quarterback, Danny Van Kamp, he's awesome. He's he's got a scholarship for lacrosse at Rutgers. So this kid's tall. I mean, he's scrambling. He's really good. And there was a Pasqueezy touchdown. So it was, one of the Pasqueezys scored a touchdown. And they could have lost, going into the half, they had scored a touchdown and they got robbed, in my opinion, by the ref, who, after the kid crosses the plane into the end zone,
Yeah.
the Carmo guys knock it out of his hands and it's loose and they fall on it in the end zone. And the ref rules it a touchback. I guarantee you, if there had been instant replay like there is in the NFL or in college football, that ruling would have been overturned. So people were furious. Even like I was talking to some Carmel fans at halftime at the concession stand, and they said, "Yeah, you guys got robbed on that one." And so they could have, but it really pumped them up, and I think it was a good motivator for the coach at halftime. And they came out on fire in the second half, and they just did a number on them. And Carmel was, rated pretty high, and it's, those as the Catholic school football programs are usually very, very good because they can recruit, unlike the public schools. So hats off to the Scouts. Now they play Warren this weekend. Warren's traditionally very good. Scouts haven't beaten them, I think, in over 10 years. But Warren lost last week to Maine South. So, and Maine South is a good program. But now we're playing in conference. Let's see how it goes. This is a good time to play Warren because they've got some good momentum. So we'll find out. And if they beat Warren, man, they could win this whole conference. So, but great job by the guys. Great job by the really good coaching too. I mean, good offensive plays, good defensive plays. And like I said, if you don't read John Kerr's newsletter about the Scouts, read it. It's really, really good.
We should get Johnny Kerr back on to set us.
Yeah, he interviews players after the game and posts the videos and stuff. I mean, he works hard at this, and I give him credit.
And
there's not a lot of, there's back in the day you had local newspapers, just like you had local newspapers covering news, you had local newspapers covering sports. You had a sports writer that would go around and cover all. Those days are over.
Like the Lake County Gazette. How are those guys doing, Joe?
I got them in the mail this week.
They
didn't put us in this week, but maybe they'll put us in next week.
They're getting thinner and thinner.
Well, they're environmentalists, but they're trying to save paper.
Speaking of environmentalists, let's take a break. Check your email, what I just sent you.
Uh-oh. Glasses on?
There.
You always send me like big surprises during the podcast.
Because this people knows is when we record.
Oh, this individual.
Read it.
All right, I see. But without saying the individual's name, I've been told by several people this is just a person that cannot be kept happy. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know how much detail you want to go into on this one. It's involving open lands.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Is there anything to it?
from what I mean, I don't know about this specific case. It's the first time I'm reading it. But I've seen that name before with some stuff. I think that individual contacted us once, and
Yeah,
I
but that,
referred
hold
it
on,
to someone.
we got a court document. What's the court
Yeah,
document?
so anybody can file a lawsuit, though. Doesn't mean they're right.
Okay, well, this is a fact, so
You wanted to read the lawsuit? Put it on the screen?
just I'll put it on the screen. Just give it what are they saying? They own a property?
Yeah, they own a property next to open lands. And there's been a lot of back and forth with them on open lands. And like I said, someone, I won't drag their name into it, but somebody you and I both know that is a very reputable source said that they're wrong.
So this is much ado about nothing.
I suppose in their world, if they live next to open lands, they're very upset about something. But from what I've been told, open lands has tried to work with them in the past, and they just are difficult to deal with.
Okay. So should I include this in the show or no? It's nothing
You
alleged.
can do it. I mean, it's a public lawsuit, so they can say whatever they want. I mean, it's out there, filed in Lake County Circuit Court. So I mean, it's out
Okay,
there for
what's
the
the issue?
public.
Can you sum up the issue if you know what it is?
I'm trying to read this thing. It's kind of. I wish we had. This is when I wish we had Rick Lesser, the lawyer. Then is engaged in a project which will purportedly stabilize the slope of the ravine next to their house. Without their knowledge or consent, they have named this project. The location of the property and lands are shown in the plat. The defendant's plan threatens to create a substantial risk of destabilizing the area around, which would cause structural damage. Like I said, there's two sides to this one. And I've been told that they're wrong on this. That they're basically like they were offered by open land several opportunities to work with them, and they just refused. And it could be a case of NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Yeah. All right. So there's something there about open lands that there's a ravine or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, open land's a great thing. We got bagpipes and bonfire coming up. I'd love to have them
That
on.
being said, what's the news here? There's a lawsuit.
There's a lawsuit, and open lands
I
is
know, but
based
what's
on
the
charitable
lawsuit about?
donation.
Is there a ravine or something that somebody
Yeah,
lives next to it and they don't like the ravine? Okay.
basically, yeah.
Okay. All right, Joe, I think that's enough.
That's like we talk. People, you move next to train tracks, expect trains.
Okay.
You move next to Wrigley Field, expect rowdy Cubs fans.
All right. So to sum it up, Bears stink.
They're 1-0.
Vegas great.
Packers are without Malik Willis, my guy from Liberty, Malik Willis. I love him, but I don't think he's the guy to save the Green Bay Packers.
As he should not be.
We took my daughter took a picture with him at the Cure Bowl in Orlando a few years ago.
If you want LuLuLemon, go to Amazon.
Loot. Again, if you want to stop all this looting and crime,
Yeah. Who's the Republican leader?
Donald Trump's the Republican leader.
Well, Mary Cole's unfortunately attached to it.
Even though, all right, anybody that votes for Eric Reinhardt because of Donald Trump or Kamala Harris really doesn't know what they're doing and shouldn't be.
And you know what? There's more people that don't know what they're doing than do know what they're doing.
Well, that's the problem. That's why we get crappy prosecutors like Eric Reinhardt, and that's why we get high taxes and all sorts of bad things.
All right, everybody. Who do the Scouts got this week? Anybody know?
Scouts got the Gurney Warren Blue Devils. But they're 1-1 against Maine. They lost to Maine South. So our man Kerr says this could be a good game. This could This is going to make or break their season.
All right.
So let's see how it goes. It's at home here in Lake Forest. So.
All you need is 6 wins to go to playoffs, I believe. So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, but let's beat Warren. It's been 10 years since they beat Warren, so let's do it. Danny Van Kamp can lead the way.
All right, Joe Weiss, another great, outstanding episode of the Lake Forest Podcast.
Go Scouts.
And your lacrosse hat. The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.